Hello, people. In the last few weeks, I was thinking a lot about artifacts in science fiction, as they play obviously a vital role in science fiction. So there came a few artifact books and stuff into my mind. First things first, there's always the monolith of 2001 by Arthur C. Clarke. I think these are one of the most famous artifacts that are appearing in science fiction stories. And they always appear, these monoliths always appear when there's a kind of mind shift, a new stages of mindset happening in humanity on Earth, and then you see these monoliths coming up. And then there's Gregory Benford's artifact, there's Stephen Baxter's artifact, and as I was stumbling again and again about the Tears of the Prophets from Deep Space Nine, there's also artifacts created by an alien species living in the wormhole, and the Bajoran people call them the Prophets. They're actually wormhole aliens, and they're using these kind of artifacts, crystal artifacts, as a communication, a telepathically communication relay to get in contact with the mind of other species. So let's get some examples. In Gregory Benford's book Artifact, we see an archaeologist who is discovering a black block of stone that is obviously emitting radioactive beams, and they try to find out what it is. And this artifact is still mysterious to them until they drill a hole into the block. And afterwards they see that this entire block is a vacuum, and it's feverishly sucking air. In this case, I often think that it's a kind of artifact that has a kind of signature style of a bad omen artifact. Artifact often relates to an ancient oracle, as when you remember the old tales of Greeks when they were wandering and walking to a place, kind of temple, and speak to an oracle as a giver and a receiver of knowledge and information. It's also a transmitter, like you find in Deep Space Nine when the Bajorans or the viewer visits the Tears of the Prophet, and the Tear of the Prophet contacts the viewer telepathically to emit information and knowledge, and also give advice in a way of a higher mind to the one who is asking. And when you see this compared with the oracle situation, you have also an asker and a viewer to the oracle, and on the other side the transmitter, the artifact who's giving the information. And when you see it from an etymological point of view, we have the word oracle, that means actually place of speaking. And I was really fascinated by this pair of comparable entities you have as an artifact and an oracle in science fiction. Actually, I was pretty proud of this. But then I found the masterclass of all artifacts book. It's actually David Brent's book Existence, and it's really a page turner. It's one of these really big books, a thick one, nearly 900 pages long, and it's set in the Uplift universe. You may know he created the Uplift universe about years long. The book sets the premise that we in general have to overthink our way of space exploration. He said that we have to think about the question, if we doing this as one species or as a whole lot of species. What does that mean? Shall it be a species or 1 million species? 1 million species doesn't exhaust all ecological niches who are waiting to be settled in space, or who are waiting for a relevant, interesting answer. Well, to make a long story short, The story begins with the astronaut and garbage collector Gerald Livingston. Gerald Livingston finds an artifact in the Earth orbit while he's collecting crap. And he really quickly sees that this kind of style, it was a stone, crystalline, could be one of Earth. He connects to it and he collects it from the orbit, brings it home. Actually, only the collector can communicate with the artifact in the book Existence. In this way, Gerald Livingston uses his hands while touching and sees afterwards a few beings within the crystal stone. At the beginning, it's only one speaker, and it looks like a kind of alien projection. And then they're coming more and more, and they're moving in groups, or they're collectively appearing, or they're just one speaker ahead. But it seems that it's a projection inside. They don't know where it comes. Is it a technology? Is it submitting from another relay station? Or is the artifact itself a kind of projection of a higher knowledge, high intelligence, artificial intelligence? Principally, we see here the often told story of a von Neumann probe. A von Neumann probe is a self-replicating technology that gives machines the ability to survive over aeons in space and share the technology with other planets and aliens and structures. So, during existence, more and more of these probes are being found and seen on Earth. And what happens is that they are not coexisting in a way, but they are competitive, because everyone inside explains that he's the right one, he's the right probe, he's the right group of aliens who has to be followed. That makes it a bit uneasy to follow. So it's a join us and you get a free upload technology. Well, at least after a lot of struggle and competition, the human beings use the upload technology and the artificial intelligence to explore space on their own and to upload their simulations and minds within the stone system. So you don't need a generation ship, the expensive one, to bring people into space for a longer time. And you also don't need the highly developed special cryostat chambers in spaceships to keep the people frozen during years and years of space-time where they can't do anything because the journey is too long. This is another example of running through space as a simulation. And I was thinking of this pair of probes and artifact as an artifact is only so long an artifact in science fiction as it is not recognized as a technology, a probe, or a sign of alien communication relay. Then it is an artifact. It is so long an artifact as you can't recognize the technology inside, as you can't solve the magic of it. Well, people, get ahead reading science fiction. As you know, it's pretty important during pandemic, and be prepared. Best of luck.